Hi, Murli.
Hi, sir.
Hi.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah,
Murli, can we start with your mock interview, Murli?
yeah, sure, sir.
Yeah. Before we proceed to the mock interview, can you just describe about yourself, Murli?
Yes, sure. Hi, sir. Myself, Murli Mohan. So, probably I have around 12 plus of years experience. Starts beginning from .NET development, SharePoint, and finally getting into data warehousing and reporting end. So currently, I'm working as an architect with respect to the MicroStrategy BI tool, where I'm working as an architect for end-to-end solutions.
Okay.
Probably with respect to data, even I'm involved in big data as well. So with
Mm-hmm.
respect to my latest project, probably I'll give a brief overview about the project architecture which currently I'm working on. So it is for the UK suppliers. So basically, suppliers has a front end uh, which is the one stop where all the suppliers access the applications. So probably it is a one UI, but incorporated with multiple applications in it. So with respect to the project, what we are doing is basically supplier sends multiple items or products to Tesco, and in that they want to see in real time what is the products that they're sending as and when they send with
Okay.
the statuses and all. So here there are multiple two things aspects which are worked on our project. One is the streaming. So as and when the products have been sent to Tesco and it clears the invoice matching, so those items would be sent through from source systems. The source systems here is Oracle retail merchandising system. So where once the invoice matching is being cleared, those items will be sent to uh, through Kafka, that is a messaging queue system, to the PGSQL, where the suppliers can see the real-time information as in when it has been invoice has been cleared. So for this is one thing that we have developed. The other thing is there are few reports which suppliers want to see with respect to their data, with respect to their competitors' data. So this is basically a batch processing. So this batch processing is basically a weekly and periodic wise which they see. So for this, what has been done is uh, by end of the day, the raw data is being ingested. Basically, it is fetched from source systems, and that is being as stored as a text file format, and then from the centralized FTP location, it is being ingested to Hadoop as a raw data. From raw data, it's daily, daily jobs has been prepared where the data has been aggregated at a daily level for the reporting purpose. From daily to weekly, and these are the two levels that we are maintaining. One is daily and weekly. And weekly wise report is directly fetched from the weekly table, whereas periodic reporting is done basically it's been aggregation on top of the weekly table.
Okay. Uh,
So yeah.
yeah, Murli, proceed.
Yeah, for this batch processing, we have used the project is built on the Spark and Scala, and it has been scheduled to execute every week, completion of the week.
Okay. Murli, can you just tell me what all technologies you have used for building this data pipeline architecture, whatever you just explained? All
One
technologies
is
you have used actually.
Kafka.
Mm-hmm.
The second thing is Spark, Spark and Scala. Spark is the execution engine, and Scala programming language. And
Mm-hmm.
for the scheduling, we have used cron jobs, but some jobs are scheduled through Uzi.
Okay.
And there is a currently there is a tested POC going on the Airflow, but that is a long term. But currently for the job scheduling, we are using cron cards.
Okay.
And with respect to reporting and with respect to reporting, we are using MicroStrategy as a BI front tool for which the data is being queried through the Hive
Okay.
queries on
Okay.
the Hadoop file system. Yeah.
Okay. Murli, exactly you were involved in which part of the development activities, Murli?
Here, I'm actually involved in two areas also. Both, one is a Kafka system. I'm actually not a full-fledged developer, but I'm supporting to the developer. But I'm involved in the development as well.
Okay.
Uh, and plus, with the aggregation tables, that's the batch processing. So I'm worked on that as well,
Okay.
along with reporting.
Okay. So what exactly you use for reporting?
For reporting, there is some complex logic which has been used to build the reports for the batch processing.
Mhm.
So basically, we have built some hack tables, and on top of hack tables, there is some complex joins which has been built for the reporting purposes.
Mhm.
And this view will be used for the reporting purpose.
Okay. 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 Good. So you said Kafka, right? What exactly,
Yes.
what component of Kafka you use as part of your project?
What part of component of Kafka, right?
Correct. I meant to
So
say, are you using a streaming or you using a,
we are using streaming.
okay. So you have built
So
applications.
yeah, we built
Uh,
applications which fetches from these source systems and dumps into the PGSQL database.
okay. Okay. How are you to, you get the data where actually from where? What is the source of your data, Murli?
The source is retail merchandising system. This is the Oracle inbuilt product,
Mm-hmm.
so which will be sending to Kafka.
Okay. And then from Kafka, you take it anywhere?
We dump it into the PGSQL.
How do you dump it into PGSQL?
Uh, we write stream actually to the Postgres based on the Windows.
Okay. So you have certain upstream and downstream applications.
Yes.
Okay. Right. Very good. Murli, can you just explain me about deployment procedures, what you follow in your company? Mike, what I meant is, how do
Okay.
you deploy your product?
As we are developers, we partially test our codes and we help in deploying the codes. But there is a core admin team who does these activities. But
Mhm.
internally we support them as well since we being the developers. So what are the things that we develop? We usually build a Maven projects. So that
Mhm.
means we'll be having a centralized repository where all the dependencies will be placed in our code. And finally, we build the jar and we provide that jar to the admin team where they schedule it.
Okay. So basically, finally, a product. How are you installing it? I mean, you install it with some sort of an RPMs or
Uh, Probably that
okay.
I'm not aware actually. So
Okay. So you basically package your project as a
package
jar
the
file.
project jar file, yes.
Okay. Okay. Right, Murli. Murli, and what is your expertise, Murli? In which areas you're expert or you worked on excessively?
Excessively on batch processing and data warehousing and reporting.
So for data warehousing, you use Hadoop.
Uh, for the file system, yeah, we use Hadoop as well as Teradata both.
Okay. So why both, Murli? What is the
Uh,
reason choosing both Hadoop and Teradata?
it depends on the need of the business users. Probably something like, let's say, they want to do some self-service kind of analysis. So probably it can be done in both the ways, but here query will build basically on top of Hadoop. It takes some time to execute where the SLAs are not met. So probably for faster access, we go with the RDBMS. Wherever SLAs are fine, we'll be doing reporting on top of the Hadoop. And there may be scenarios where uh, for the self-service, we directly connect to the Hadoop through the tool, and they can do their own developments for the self-service. So
Okay.
basically, it depends on the business users' needs. Based on
Okay.
that, we'll be taking a call.
Okay. So Murli, the raw data what you get, you're directly dumping into Hadoop and Teradata, or you perform any kind of transformations before we dump into the data warehousing system?
Basically, what are the raw data we get from the network share location, that's FTP.
Hmm.
So from that, we'll directly ingest into the Hadoop side. And based on the raw file, we'll be processing and building a daily aggregation tables
Okay.
based on the business logics.
So you don't filter anything on the real-time data?
Whatever the data that we get as part of the uh, raw file, it is filtered based on the business logics. That means that has to be ingested to the Hadoop.
Okay. So do you meant that the data what you get is always cleansed data?
That is different. That's what I'm saying. Whatever the intended data to ingested into Hadoop, those data based on the business logics will be filtered from the source end itself, and they will
Okay.
have shared that file.
Okay.
Based on that, we'll be doing some transformations and applying business logics and cleansing the data.
Okay. Okay. So based on the business logic, you dump respective data into the HDFS.
HDFS.
As a raw files, you dump into HDFS or you load it into the Hive tables.
We don't like do the Hive tables for the raw file. So right from the daily table to weekly table, we use for the Hive tables for that.
Okay.
But for the raw file, we don't do any Hive tables on that.
Okay. Okay. Right. Good, Murli. Murli, let me ask you some questions related to Hadoop. Okay. Yeah. Murli, can you just tell me what is the reason of choosing the replication factor for Hadoop? Why did they go to the option of choosing the replication for the data?
Replication factor is basically by default it is 3. What does that mean is how many times the data needs to be replicated and stored in the HDFS file. Why did they go with a replication factor is since Hadoop it uses a commodity hardware and the it might tend to fail for multiple reasons. So that's the reason they went for the replication factor. Since the hardware is cheap and commodity hardware, so costing wise it would be less.
Okay. Okay. Murli, what challenges have you encountered while performing aggregations on Hive? Did you face any challenges on Hive?
Whenever we are doing some aggregations, basically what happens is this is with respect to the HDFS and MapReduce. Earlier it was the default execution engine was MapReduce. So what had happened is whenever we try to do some aggregations, the shuffle happens between multiple partitions.
Okay.
So due to which it was consuming time where mappers and reducers comes into picture.
Okay.
So which was causing causing delay in executing the performing the aggregations.
Okay. So there was some issues with
Shuffling of data between the partitions.
Okay. Okay. Murli, can you just tell me what all different types of tables available in Hive?
In Hive, basically we have two kinds of tables. One is internal table and the other one is external table. It depends upon the scenarios when they go for this kind of tables they need to go
So
for.
as part of your product, Murli, which kind of a table you have?
We are using an external table.
Okay. What is the reason?
Since this table can be, since this file can be used by multiple other sources as well, end users. It can be end users, it can be end applications, various places.
Okay.
So probably if we go with the internal table, in case I'm not using for reporting, in case I delete, so that means it would get deleted permanently. And the other applications or end users who are using this table, they might not get the internet data. So that's why we went for the external table.
Okay. Did you see any performance impact, Murli, while choosing internal versus external table?
As per my knowledge, I don't think so. There will be any performance.
Okay.
So basically, it might be based on the type of properties that you give for an internal or external table.
Okay.
But with respect to the same properties, I don't think so there should be any performance issue.
Okay. Murli, can you just explain me about the Hive architecture, mostly what all components generally the Hive architecture comprises of? So let me ask you, let me reframe it. What is Hive in general? Do you think Hive is a database, Murli?
Basically, it is used as a data warehousing tool for the Hadoop systems.
Okay.
Where for the file systems, basically for the schema data, we'll be creating a table structure and mapping that table structure to the file system.
Okay,
Rather
very good.
than writing the MapReduce programs, we write through the SQL queries.
Okay. So where does the metadata actually stores in Hive?
I think by default it stores into Derby database.
Okay, as part of your product?
As part of our company, we are using the MySQL.
Okay, okay. What is the reason of not choosing Derby, Murli?
Probably, I think I missed that.
Okay,
I
no
don't
problem.
able to recall it, but there was some kind of mechanism. I think probably I'm not sure exactly.
Okay, but have you anytime evaluated rather than using MySQL? Have you evaluated anytime using MariaDB, or are you aware of MariaDB?
Yes, I think MariaDB it's the same as of MySQL, but it's an open source. But rest everything is the same.
Okay, so you're aware of MariaDB then?
Yes.
Okay, are you using for anything as part of any POCs you have used for MariaDB?
Yes, for the POCs actually, I have used that basically to store the data for in-memory thing.
Okay. Okay. Right.
Uh,
Okay.
yeah.
Murli, and can you tell me at any time have you come across a scenario, something which you were not able to achieve with Hive and you were able to achieve with MapReduce? Is there any that kind of a scenarios?
Uh, Achieve with MapReduce or
Not with Hive.
not with Hive?
Correct.
I think probably it can be unstructured data. I think semi-structured or unstructured data. I think.
Okay.
Sorry, unstructured data. I think I'm not sure. Probably
So
might
you
be
have used
unstructured
anywhere
data.
MapReduce?
We have not used built any programs with respect to MapReduce, but I'm aware about the MapReduce
Okay.
concept.
Okay. Murli, can you just tell me this Hive default execution engine, you have retained it to MapReduce or you're using any other default execution engine apart from MapReduce?
In the beginning, it was MapReduce, but later part it was changed to Spark.
Okay. Now, so you're using Hive,
With
only thing you
Spark.
have with Spark you're using, is it?
Yes, yes.
Okay. 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 Murli. Okay, Murli, good. Let us proceed related to Spark, Murli.
Sorry.
Okay. Can you just tell something about Spark? What is Spark is all about, or what is the advantages of Spark when compared to Hadoop?
By default, Hadoop actually.
What is Spark? I just wanted to.
Spark is a framework which is built to process the data in memory for the distributed computing systems.
Okay.
The difference is between Hadoop and Spark is Hadoop, the execution happens on the file systems, whereas in Spark, it basically the computes in the in-memory.
Okay. But Murli, don't you think even any computation should always happen on the in-memory only?
Sorry, sir?
Any computation in general should always happen on in-memory only?
The
Even
computation,
yeah, even MapReduce, if you take, let's say the mapper, when it executes, the computation of mapper, it also should happen on the memory only?
See, what happens is in Hadoop, basically the mapper, when shuffling happens, the data is being sent across the different nodes
Okay.
when shuffling happens. So here the data is computation is happening in memory.
No, my question again, the computation should always happen on memory only, right? It can be irrespective MapReduce or Spark. The computation should always happen on the memory. So what is the exact difference between the Hadoop and Spark? Whether Spark minimizes any kind of an IO operations, anything that way? I'm just giving you a hint.
Yes, sir. Basically, the IO, as I said, shuffling. For shuffling, it requires multiple IO operations happens. But I think with respect to Spark, it computes in memory where based on the partitions.
Okay. Okay. Fine. Murli, can you just explain me about Spark architecture?
Uh, in the Spark architecture or ecosystem, the main part would be the
Yeah, you can
Spark
go
core
ahead with
components.
explaining the Spark ecosystem. That is better.
Yeah, yeah. The main part is the Spark core libraries. So on top of which we have the Spark SQL uh, graphics, Spark SQL to write any kind of SQL on top of the data frames or RDBs. Then graphics for any kind of visualizations and template for any machine learning kind of development activities.
Okay.
And we have streaming, structured streaming. So
Okay.
this is to perform the real-time.
So out of these components, Murli, what components have you used as part of your product?
As part of our product, I've used Spark core libraries and structured streaming. But
Mhm.
structured streaming we have done for the POC purpose, and instead of structured streaming, we went for Kafka.
Okay. So in place of for streaming, rather than going with Spark streaming, you have gone to Kafka streams.
Kafka streaming, yes.
Was there any reason, Murli, not choosing Spark and going to Kafka? Was there any reason if you're aware?
I'm not aware, sir. So probably it was a decision taken from the admin team and the business
Okay. So it was
discussions. So
as part of
probably
your business, you have chosen the Kafka.
yes, sir.
Okay. Now, Murli, can you tell me if what Hadoop, as you told, it is basically a framework which is for storage and for processing, right?
Yes,
Hadoop
sir.
is meant for storage and processing, right?
Yes, sir.
What about in Spark? Do we have anything related to storage in Spark?
Basically, Spark is used for in-memory computing, sir, but not for storage.
Okay, so you meant Spark is only used for computation, not for storage.
Computation, not for storage. Yes. For
Then,
storage, for storage, it can be stored into raw files, sorry, any CSVs or Hadoop or any database.
as part of your product, where are you storing now?
Currently, as part of our project, the data is being stored into the HDFS only.
Okay, so you are deploying Spark as a standalone, or you're deploying Spark on Hadoop? What is the cluster manager have you used?
For the cluster manager, it is Yarn only.
Okay.
We have used Yarn.
So as part of your product deployment, you are using Spark with Hadoop, not on Spark standalone.
Not standalone, yes.
Okay. Can you tell me what all various services we have for Hadoop, Murli?
For Hadoop, we have one is StarDFS. Basically, when we
I meant to say services, daemon services.
Daemon services, we have name node,
Okay.
data node,
Okay.
Name name node and data node, sir, and I'm unable to recollect the other one.
Okay. Resource manager,
Uh,
node manager.
yeah.
Okay.
Not, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Murli, one thing I wanted to know, which language have you used for building your Spark applications, Murli?
So in our company, basically, we use Java and Scala, but
Okay.
in particular to our projects, we use Scala.
Okay.
So as in, since most of the developers are already working in Java, so their other applications, what they're built is with respect to Java, and probably we are continuing with Java and Scala. But
Okay.
there are few other teams they're using Python as well.
Okay. So was that only the reason of choosing Scala based on your resource, or was there any other advantages of using Scala?
No, sir. Like any kind of new requirement, usually we try to build with Scala because Spark is built on top of Scala, and
Okay.
I think that's the reason we are proceeding with Scala.
Why not Java, Murli? What is that? Why you didn't choose Java? And do you agree to my point whether Scala and Java is built on top of JVM? Is it true?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So now tell me, why don't you use Java? Why have you chosen Scala?
Uh,
First thing, can you answer me?
Scala, it has both functional and uh, functional program and sorry,
Object-oriented programming.
object-oriented programming. Yeah.
Okay. So, but apart from that, you didn't choose Scala for not anything else.
No, sir. Basically, whatever the codes that we write with respect to Java might be 5 to 10 lines. The same thing we can achieve it through Scala in 1 or 2 lines.
Okay, so you meant that Scala provides you much concise way of
Elegant,
writing a
yeah.
code.
Yeah, much elegant way of code.
Can
That's it.
you just elaborate me on this, Murli? Where exactly you found that Scala way of writing a code is much efficient or much concise way when compared to Java? Have you come across any scenario?
Uh,
So as you pointed out, you said you will write just few lines of a code in Scala when compared to Java. So my question is, where have you come across?
So I'm not actually come across since probably at the moment I'll not be able to elaborate it, but
Okay.
since I'm following Scala, so
Okay. Okay. So it's an organization decision
organization
you've taken.
decision. Yeah.
Okay. Now, can you tell me, Murli, what are the primary abstractions available in Spark?
The primary abstraction is the RDBs. It's a resilient distributed data sets.
Okay. Can you elaborate that what exactly RDD is all about, or what are the properties of RDD?
The properties of RDD is it's basically a fault tolerance. So probably whenever let's say while execution it fails, it knows from where to restart it because of directed acyclic graph. Let's say probably if from one RDD I filtered some elements to another RDD. Let's say second RDD fails. It knows from where to pick up and try to execute based on the execution plan.
Okay, very good, very good. Okay, can you just tell me other properties of RDD?
In that only probably fault tolerance also covers.
Okay.
The next thing is lazy availability.
What do you mean by that?
So lazy availability is basically unless any actions are performed, the code would not be executed. For example, let's say in the previous example, in the first statement I have run a map. In the second statement, I have filtered some elements. Now I performed two actions over sorry two transformations here. One is map, the other one is filter. Uh, but there will be no backend any actions performed. That means let's say I'm loading a file into the first RDD and filtering the elements in the second RDD. In the backend, there will be no transformation performed. That means data would not be loaded into any of the RDDs unless I call an action.
Okay. So what are the different operations available in RDD?
Operations, you mean transformations or
Yeah, operations. Yeah.
So, basically, naming few, it would be map, flat map, filter, reduce by key, uh, sprints, sorry, uh, show, take,
Okay.
first, last.
So these are transformations or these are actions?
These are transformations. And
Okay.
for actions, probably print, storing into a file, storing into HDFS.
Okay. So you said,
Yeah.
right, you said first is a transformation. Is it a transformation or is it action, Murli?
It is a transformation.
So you meant whenever you invoke first, it will not do anything. Okay.
I think
fine.
Probably it's a transformation, I think, sir.
Okay, no problem. Murli, can you tell me what are different ways to create an RDD?
There are basically 3 different ways to create an RDD.
Okay,
so
very
one
good.
is with respect to the from the file, from text file. The second thing is from any of the collections through the parallelized method, you can create RDD. And
Okay.
third option would be from an RDD, creating another RDD.
Okay, so you meant only these three ways you can create an RDD?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Okay, Murli, can you now let us get into the scenario-based questions?
Sure,
Okay,
sir.
now quickly, can you share your screen? And I will give you some scenario. Okay, you have to answer those questions, and I'll also send you the data set as well.
Sure, sir. So I
Okay.
think host is design.
Okay, Murli, can you as you told, you can create an RDD
Okay.
by parallelizing the existing collection, right?
Yes, sir.
Can you demonstrate that?
Sure. So probably let me create first some collection. So I've created a list called LST.
Okay.
So probably I'll create a RDD now.
Where is this parallelize method present, Murli? In which class?
It is in Spark context, sir.
Okay. Now in Spark 2.x, Spark context is encapsulated on which object?
Spark session. Spark session.
Correct, right? So I've given you an hint now.
No, LST already is there, right? I created a variable.
So have you created list there?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Now, Murli, can you elaborate the statement? What exactly you have done? Val RDD1 is equal to spark context. Can you elaborate that?
Yes, sir. By default, for the console, there'll be two things that will be created. One is a Spark, and the other one is Spark context.
Okay.
So,
why are you calling Spark context from Spark? Was there any reason?
To instantiate the parallelize methods.
Okay. Okay. So directly, I think we could have invoked the parallelize method, right? By simply writing sc.parallelize. What is the reason?
But now, since Spark context is included in the Spark session.
Okay. 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 Good. Okay. Right. Murli, can you just write a program now? Just try to multiply the list. You have created an RDD, right?
Yes,
Now, can you simply multiply by 2?
Yeah, sure. Yes, sir. You want me to result the output?
Yeah, print the output. So before printing the output, can you just write mul by 2? Okay, print the output. Proceed. Yeah, fine. Murli, here if you observe very carefully, did it print the output in the order in which you have given the input?
No.
Can you
Since
tell me why?
since I think by default, I think it created 4 partitions.
How do
So
you
probably
know that it created 4 partitions?
I'll get the partitions.
Very
If
good.
you see here,
Very good.
it's
Now,
basically based on the process course of the.
okay, very good. Now, can you enhance the same program? Now try to create an RDD with number of partitions as 2.
Sure, sir.
Now what I wanted is now you have created RDD1, right?
Yes.
RDD1, now you showed me that number of partitions was 4. Now can you create an RDD with number of partitions as 2?
Okay.
Okay, very good. I think N was
Spelling
capital,
mistake.
right?
Yeah, spelling mistake. Okay, I think I missed.
Okay.
It has been partitioned by 2.
Right. Now, Murli, can you print the RDD? Can you print the content of an RDD? Right. Can you just enlarge your screen, Murli, once? Okay, once again. Can you scroll up once? Okay, right. Can you scroll up once? Yeah. Can you see that when you printed that it printed stage 0, right? It printed
Yes.
0 plus 4 divide by 4. What is that 4 divide by 4 is about? You can see 0 plus 4 divide by
0
4.
plus 4 divided by 4.
Yeah. What is that divide by 4? What is that 4 is about?
Number of cores or number of partitions.
Okay.
Sorry, number of partitions.
Okay. Right. Okay. Now you have launched Spark Shell, right, Murli?
Yes, sir.
So what is the Spark Shell is about?
Basically, Spark can be there are basically kind of three types. One is standalone, so where both JVM for the sorry, I'm unable to recall actually.
Okay.
So basically, it is the console for any kind of development activities or some like quick things that we need to explore. Basically, we go with a Spark console.
Okay. Okay. Fine. No problem. Murli, let us go to the next scenario-based question. I will send you one data set now. Okay.
Okay.
So just download the data set. Just give me 1 minute. I'll send you one data set and then we will proceed. Murli, I think I've sent you the data set. Were you able to? Yeah. So Murli, the question is, so the data set, whatever I've given you is a fixed length data set.
Okay.
So what I meant with fixed length is, for example, the device, the first column is equipment ID. Okay. So it is FC till 5C colon 0C. No, 0C. Yeah. Till there, it is always the equipment ID. and after the equipment ID is the device name. Okay, so this is the data set. Now what I want you to do is, you understood the data set, right? It is a fixed length data set where I don't have any delimiter.
Correct.
So I'm trying to tell you the data set which comprises of is basically the first is the equipment ID starting from the position 0 till 17.
17
is the equipment ID.
Yes.
Okay, and after that till the last it is always the, let's say, client device.
Yes.
Okay, now what I want you to do is, now try to load, first thing, try to load this file and create an RDD. That is the first step.
Let me put into the C drive.
Yeah. You understood my question, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, first try to load the file and create an RDD. Murli, is it from file method or is it any other method?
Text file.
Yes, very good. Okay, all right. Can you just print the RDD, Murli? Okay, good. Now, Murli, now what I wanted is, as I told you that the first from 0 till 17, it is the equipment ID and the rest of the things is client device. Now what I wanted is, I want you to write a logic where if you see this data, it is not delimited with any separator.
Yes.
Now what I want you to do is, I want you to separate it with a delimiter. So you have to separate equipment ID and the client device with a delimiter, let's say comma. Can you write a program? So what kind of a transformation you will apply? I want to transform this data from a fixed length file to a comma separated file.
Okay.
So what transformation I have to apply here?
First is map.
Okay. So you understood my requirement, right? Can you just write a program for that?
So basically you need to transform back to a file.
Correct. Even if you don't transform, it is fine. But if you print an RDD, I should be able to see each record with a delimiter.
Delimiter. Okay.
Even if you don't save, it is fine. Okay, good.
I think I'm not sure how to take out greater than substring.
Okay, proceed. Okay, can you print? Do you think the index is correct, Murli?
Probably I'll check it out, sir.
Okay, very good.
Yes.
It is correct? Okay.
Yes, 0 to 70. I think comma is there.
Okay, very good. So now you were able to transform the data which is from fixed length to a delimiter. Okay.
Delimited.
Okay, very good. Okay, Murli, let's proceed further. Okay. Okay, the reason me giving you this problem statement is that we don't use RDD as part of our project. Okay,
Yes.
it is just to test your programming skill. Okay,
Okay.
so we don't use RDDs.
Okay.
Okay, right. Let's get into the next thing, Murli. Right, Murli, as you told, as part of the Spark ecosystem, which particular component is used for structured data analysis?
Structured streaming.
Uh,
Sorry. Okay. Okay. It is data frames.
Correct. It is the data frames. You meant it is Spark SQL?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can you explain me about data frames?
Basically, for whatever rows and columns, basically when there is a data which is semi-structured or structured, so those can be brought into a structured format and can be performed the transformation and actions on top of it for cleansing and batch processing kind of activities where the data can be stored further into aggregation tables.
Okay. Can you tell me, Murli, what is the primary interface to create a data frame?
Primary interface is the data frame reader.
Very good. Okay. Murli, can you just, we will go with scenario based, Murli. Okay. I think I've already sent you one file by name u.user. Can you open that u.user, Murli? Yeah, Murli. Now, what I wanted you to do is you have to read this file, and first step, can you create an RDD? I'm sorry, can you create a data frame, Murli?
Data frame, okay.
Can you create a data frame by reading the u.user file?
Do you want me to read with the headers and everything, or?
For now, you try to read everything. Okay, can you open the data set, Murli, once?
Sure, sir.
Okay, can you do one thing? Can you remove the headers? Remove the headers means can you create a data frame by making the header as the column names?
Okay, header as a column names, right?
Correct.
Basically inferring the schema.
Yeah, you have to tell me. Yeah, proceed. Let's see.
Options. Sorry, option. So what I've done is I've created the data frame reader.
Okay, now one second, Murli.
Yeah.
I need some information here. Can you elaborate that statement? What exactly you meant with spark.read.option and what are the different options you're trying to pass? Can you elaborate that statement, Murli?
Yeah. Spark.read basically it returns the data frame reader.
Okay.
And options, I'm passing the parameters. What are the properties that needs to be, let's say for in my file, I have the header. So basically, I'm specifying header as true. In case any delimiter is there, so I'll be specifying the delimiter. And in case I want to infer the schema, that is a data type, so probably I'll be adding those things in the options in the data frame reader. Basically, this option once again returns me the data frame reader.
Okay, so you meant, let me ask you again some more questions. What does the return of spark.read, what does it return?
Data frame reader.
So spark.read.option, what does it return?
Once again, a data frame reader.
Okay, very good. Now, can you also show me how to infer the schema, Murli?
So probably I can go once again with option.
Okay.
Schema. Okay, now I'm currently from the data frame reader. I mentioned header as true, and it says to infer the schema.
Okay. Now, can you print the first record? So
I've still not imported the data set, sir.
Okay.
I need to create a data frame.
Okay, right. Proceed. Murli, if you see the data, what we have, the data is not a comma separated value, but you have written
sorry, I think
CSV,
I need
right?
to, yeah, I think I need to, probably I need to give option.
Okay. Now, Murli, if you just take only the first 3 records, so do you think you will have the header?
Header will not be there, sir.
Can you demonstrate that?
Yeah.
Header is there?
Header is not there.
Okay. Now, can you show me? Oh, can you print the schema, Murli?
Yes, sure.
Okay. Now, did it print the schema?
Okay, I think what did I mention?
Okay, let me give you a clue now. Can you select only the ID and age? So first thing, I think you have to correct this, right?
Yes.
Yeah, first correct this. Let us see.
I can use the documentation, right?
Yeah, definitely you can use the documentation. And Murli, if you see, it has opened Java documentation.
Is it third? Oh, sorry. I think even it is open the latest version of Spark 3.0.
Okay. So what exactly you're doing, Murli, now?
Just checking. I think I've given the wrong option for the delimiter.
Okay. Okay, no problem. Take the documentation help. Correct. Okay.
Separator. Okay.
Okay. So what is that you figured out?
Separator. Basically, it's not delimiter. It is basically data separated there.
Okay, good. So you took the help of documentation. Okay, very good. I appreciate it.
Documentation.
Okay, now. Try to give just check anything you can find out there. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Murli, 1 second. If you see, no, 1 second. So if you see this, you have written spark.read.option, header is equal to true, infer schema, everything you have written. But I think you have forgotten to execute the previous
Correct,
statement
sir.
again.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay. Murli, did you verify that? Are you using a right file, Murli? Can you just verify once?
I think I'm looking for a wrong file, sir.
Okay.
So probably I've changed it
Okay.
now. Yeah, I think now I can print the schema. So
Okay.
it has created the corresponding columns.
Okay. So all the circles you did for a wrong file. Okay.
Wrong
No
file,
problem.
yeah.
Murli, can you select only the ID and gender column, Murli?
ID and gender columns, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
ID and gender.
Can you open the data set once again? Okay. Now, can you select ID, age, and designation?
Age and designation.
Correct. ID, age, and designation.
Sir.
Okay, fine. Now, Murli, I can see in your code that you have written df.select and you have used call. What is this call, Murli?
Basically, this returns the column, sir.
Okay. So what is the advantage of using this way of selecting a columns? I would have, I don't know, I would have chosen df.select off. I would have given simply the column names.
Basically, it is the way different way of coding style. So there are multiple ways that you can get the same output. So basically, this is one of the way. So the other way would be I can remove column.
Okay, so this is another way of you meant for iterating, is it?
Yes, this is one of the another way.
Okay.
So probably we can go with even dollar as well, I think.
Okay.
Sorry. Single quotes, I think. There are multiple ways.
Okay.
I think
Okay. Murli, you're there? Okay, I think there was okay, no problem. Murli, can you apply one filter transformation where I wanted only, you have to print only the gender as male. Okay, so can you apply a filter transformation and can you show me?
Need to filter by gender, is it?
Correct. Gender is equal to male.
Okay.
Just apply a filter transformation.
Yes, sir.
You have any data like male for the gender column?
I think let me see. It is capital M.
Okay. Okay. Can you print the records and show me?
Yes, I can. It's only filtered by
Murli,
male.
now I see in your code, you have written val df2 is equal to df.filter and you have written call of gender triple equal to. Can you elaborate more about that triple equal to? What is that triple equal to is about?
Basically, in Spark, it's actually everything is a methods. So
Okay.
even triple equals to, it basically refers to the equals to.
Okay. 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 Okay, Murli, I think, yeah, we are done with your interview. Okay.
Sure.
So I would get back to you on this.
Sure, sir.
Okay.
Thanks.